People say he was killed in a fight over a common plastic chair, but there is more to this story. So on 4th September 2025, just last Thursday, a guy in Kumasi, Ashtown, was killed in a fight over a plastic chair. But emerging stories and eyewitnesses stories and stories from family seem to show that there was something behind the motive of his killing. Let's go into the story. On 4th September 2025, a guy who has been identified as Kwadwo Bright was killed in a fight over a plastic chair. Now, this is what you should know. According to the stories that are emerging, the fight was at a place where snooker games were always taking place in a community known as Ashtown here in Kumasi, Ashanti region. So at first, Kwadwo Bright was the one sitting on the particular plastic chair, and then the owner of the snooker game called Kwadwo Bright to come and listen to something. So as Kwadwo Bright stood up from the plastic chair to go listen to what he was being called for, the other person, who has been identified as the attacker or the killer, came and took over the chair. So when Kwadwo Bright returned, he asked the person to leave the chair because initially he was the one sitting on the chair. The attacker refused to get up from this chair. Kwadwo Bright also said he need the chair. The attacker refused to get up from the chair. Kwadwo Bright insisted he should get up. That was when the fight started. So there was a very loud argument. However, according to the report again, that particular disagreement was settled. But later, just a few hours or minutes after that particular argument, Kwadwo Bright was reportedly stabbed multiple times, especially in the neck, and then killed by the same person who had taken over the chair initially. So when the incident occurred, many bloggers went to the home of Kwadwo Bright to directly report this case, and these are the things I have pieced together. According to the sister of Kwadwo Bright is a very stubborn guy, a very stubborn and notorious guy, but he can never commit murder. Also, Kwadwo Bright's sister admitted that Kwadwo Bright smokes weed. Yes, he smokes. However, still, he can never commit murder.
Can Bright was some kakrache.
Bright will be a memento seminiane, miniano. By say and to quase be a say, ye pra will be a kun say dear. And I may one no we, miniano, no we, one no boys, and I, one no boys, and make us say me sign minianity and I say, or no we, by saying cook be in say dear, mean see be that.
Now, according to another person known as Sapon, a person in the community of Ashtown who gave the story also, he said that Kwadwo Bright had an elder brother known as Frank. Now, Frank bought a particular chain and then they were moving with a gang in the night with his friends. So when they were moving, this elder brother of Kwadwo Bright was moving with those friends. Over there, though Kwadwo Bright smokes and is notorious, the brother was a calm person who did not smoke. But when they sent the brother out, they gave the brother and the friends that sent Kwadwo Bright's brother out, the attacker was part of those friends. When they sent the brother of Kwadwo Bright outside, they gave him something to smoke and they also gave him a mineral, a drink to take. Allegedly, they had drugged that particular drink. Immediately he smoked and then drank that particular thing they gave him. He fell unconsciously and was lying down, and they left the elder brother of Kwadwo Bright previously in the night. Now another person, that Sapon, came and then saw the person lying down and said, I know this guy. So he took the guy home and then informed them of what has happened. Kwadwo Bright became annoyed for the fact that they did that to his brother. So the next day, Kwadwo Bright confronted those who did that to their brother and then was like, why would you people do that to my brother? That's not cool. We don't do that. I don't like that. Please take your time. So he confronted them about what they did to his brother. So that particular confrontation brought some friction, some tension between he and especially the person who killed him. Then came later on the fight over the plastic chair. Reports also show that Kwadwo Bright, after his death, they found a weapon on him, and that particular guy was also having a weapon. So the fight was not just over the plastic chair. It dates back to the confrontation, what those guys did to Kwadwo Bright's brother. and Kwadwo Bright confronting them over what they did to his brother. So that was what led to it. So after they had a fight over the plastic chair and the issue was solved, later on he was confronted somewhere, and then the fight escalated, and then he was stabbed brutally, and he was rushed to the Menshia hospital according to the sister. The sister also rushed there, where they said they were transferring him to Komfo Teaching Hospital. Over there at Komfo Teaching Hospital, he was pronounced dead. The parents, the sisters, family, and all over were shocked, even though they know the guy was notorious, but he couldn't go to this extent. That shouldn't have happened. And they were visibly shocked. They gathered in the house. Most of them, as you can see, were seen crying and wailing. Kwadwo Bright was just a 19-year-old guy, simply a 19-year-old guy, but he had a 16-year-old girlfriend and then a 1-year-old child, and the girlfriend was also 7 months pregnant. Okay, so the 19-year-old Kwadwo Bright, who just died, has left behind a 16-year-old girlfriend, 1-year-old child, and a 7-year-old pregnancy. How is the little girl, the 16-year-old girl, going to cope without the support of her boyfriend or husband? The guy who did that to Kwadwo Bright took to his hill. He has escaped and they are looking for him.